just thinking about plant parts. Let's do a little quiz, a little fun thing here. What plant parts can you think of? I know it wasn't a ton of time, but hopefully you got at least a couple parts of plants. Starting with the seed, moving to roots, then stems, then branches, leaves, then flowers, then fruit, and then we go back again to the seeds. And later on, I'll be explaining why each part is important. This includes the weeds that we have as well. So there's a term that some beginner gardeners see. I just try to like give you more information that and like define some of the things that you hear more advanced gardeners talk about. So there's a term called chop and drop.
Okay.
And I tend to do that with my clients. I definitely do it here at the homestead. And that's where, like, if there is a weed that I see that I'm going to pull, I'll look to see, does it have a seed on it? If it has a seed on it, I'm going to pull it and I'm going to take it out. I'm going to probably put it in my compost pile or in a leaf bag. If it doesn't have a seed, I might just pull it and just leave it right there for nature to just decompose it. And like when I do it for client gardens, I would put that refuse without seeds, that refuse like behind their shrubs or behind their other plants. So it's just like a natural fertilizer as it breaks down. It becomes compost after a while. And that's also called cold composting. That's where you just have piles and you don't turn them and you don't water them and you don't check the temperature and stuff. So chop and drop is one thing that you could do. You could also use for the home gardener who mows their lawn, if they don't have pesticides or herbicides, they could take all those clippings and they could use that as mulch and just lay it around their gardens. Not
Okay.
real thick. They could probably do maybe an inch all the way around their gardens, and that smothers the weeds and smothers things from coming up. And it provides some fertilizer, natural fertilizer.
And I forget what is the stuff that the condo comes and they put it around and it's like a brownish reddish color all
Um,
over the ground.
mulch.
Mulch.
Mulch. Yep. Mulch. That mulch does that too. Mulch suppresses the weeds as well.
Okay.
Most weeds, not everything.
No.
Yeah, yeah, like chips. If you get wood chips, we've had chip drop a couple times and put it all around the gardens. And we actually use like butcher block paper first and like roll it out between shrubs and things. Then we would pile the wood chips on top. And that lasted at least probably 2 years. But the one weed that kept coming up every single time was like I think it's called quack grass or crabgrass. It, it just kept coming up. And that's because the way that this thing reproduces was through the roots.
Okay.
And so it would like go underneath the paper. Oh, there's an opening. Or it would force its way through if it was a rainy season and the paper got soggy, then it would force its way through. And so that was really the only weed that we had a problem with when we would use that kind of mulch.
Okay.
And then some people will use things that keep weeds from germinating. So and I think it's called preen, where they'll sprinkle it in the gardens. And that
Oh,
just means that any weed seeds that like fly from the air, dandelions or whatever, and land on the ground can't germinate with this stuff in the soil.
okay.
It
Okay.
isn't necessarily what I prefer for people. I like to use less chemicals, but some people do that and they have success with it. All right, so let's talk about annuals. Now that Gara I was talking about with the floaty stems and stuff, that was not an annual. That was a perennial.
Yes.
But zinnias are annuals. So
Yes.
every time that I would plant something that was say annual, and it would die when the frost came in like mid-October, I would get sad. I'm like, I don't understand. It's annual. It says annual. Annual means 1 year. That's what I thought. No,
Yeah.
annual is one growing season. So from the time it warms up to the time it gets cold, it's the hard cold frost, that's its lifespan. So for up here in the northern spaces, we can't usually grow annuals outside. from
Yeah.
hard frost, and we've got it in this area around mid-October till what, spring? We Mother's Day in May usually. So our annuals only last one whole season, but in the meantime, they really, really, really grow. They really take advantage of all the warm that they have and the sunlight and all the rain that comes in. What other kind of annuals are you familiar with?
Well, I'm looking at for my list of the ones that I grow, and
Oh, good.
I can't remember them. Okay, so coleus, I love coleus.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, because it grows great in the shade.
And there's so many colors.
Yeah,
I love that. Some with the pink and some with like the fluorescent greens, the dark greens, or the speckled, like they got freckles.
I like looking at those, but what I grow are the red ones. I
The
like
red
that
ones.
stuff. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And I actually bring stems in the winter. Like I have a pot of it right now by my window that
Good.
is rooting, and
Oh,
then I
very good. And
plant
then
that
you'll just
across.
replant it later on, like next
Right.
in the spring.
Yeah. Yeah. Begonia. Is that,
Begonias.
I
I
like.
heard people take begonias and they will take gardenias both because they're like a tubular kind of plant, and they will dig them up or they'll just take the pots and they'll put them in their basements or their unheated garages and overwinter them. And
I
so,
brought one in last year.
mhm.
And it overwintered. The plant overwintered over the winter, and it kind of died down a little bit in the deep winter, but then come spring, it started coming up, and so that's what I planted
Isn't that
outside
exciting?
in my pot. Yeah, it was that
Yeah.
was really cool because I didn't think it's an annual,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. And the only way we can keep annuals for year after year after year is again if we bring them in and take care of them and then bring them back outside again.
You have to do it the right way, though.
Yeah, that's the only
Yeah,
way. Now, some plants, okay, all right. A lot of people will look for advice everywhere on the internet or YouTube or whatever, and they don't always know what they're looking for. So if you are following a gardener or gardening channel that's down in North Carolina or
it's going
Deep
to be
South
different
Homestead is
than
in Mississippi. You could follow how they plant things, but you can't necessarily follow what they plant, and you can't necessarily plant plant what they plant because
at
our
the time they plant.
yeah, yeah. So some annuals might say that they are perennials. Like you might listen to them and they'll say, "Oh yeah, this is a perennial. It comes back year after year." Yeah, down there it does, but not up here. So what they'll say too is,
Oh, some things that they will call a perennial are not
are
perennial for
not
us in the north.
right,
Okay, okay,
right, and that's and I try not to go too far off, but that's kind of where hardiness zones come into play. So if it says hardy zones 7 to 10, that's not for us. We can't consider that a perennial. We could grow it, but it's going to be an annual. So it's either going to die back at the frost or we're going to have to bring it in.
yeah,
But then they do have some they call hardy annuals. And I think really what happens with those is they either they can last through like milder winters. Like we've had 3 or 4 years in a row where it was pretty mild. We did not have a lot of snow.
right,
And so they would come back, like the snapdragons will come back.
right,
Or it could just be that they reseed and they call them hardy annuals, but they actually are just new plants altogether.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so like you brought in your begonia, right? And your
I did.
coleus.
The coleus I do every year. Yeah.
Okay. I brought in peppers the last couple years. And then I'm going to wake them up. They should be waking up pretty soon so they can start growing out again because they say that we get more peppers the older the plants are. Peppers in down Southland could overwinter. They could be perennials.
Right.
Yeah. And even further
The
south, like
pepper plant?
pepper plants. Yeah. Like
That's
down in
cool.
Latin America, southern part of America, it's warm all the time, so they can grow all the time. Now, if they get the freak snowstorms, then they'd have to cover them, just to protect them from the snow or ice or whatever might be coming, or hail, different conditions like that.
Yeah,
But
but you said
generally,
earlier you weren't talking about the South. You said you can overwinter it here, that is a really exciting thing to me. Not that I can do it because I'm in a condo, but that's cool.
wait, which one are you talking about?
The pepper plant.
Oh, you could do it. If you haven't if you have a north facing window, and
No,
you
you can. I could overwinter it, but I can't grow it outside. I'm not supposed to plant vegetables in my yard.
right, but you could put them in a pot.
Right, right.
You can
But
put them
when
in a
the
pot.
year
So
I
when
did that, I didn't get any peppers.
no,
I got a few. What was I planted two things in that planter, and the other one I got a few of it. The peppers I didn't get any.
okay,
I was really sad and discouraged. My tomato plant in a pot grows great.
okay. Another example would be an herb like rosemary. Rosemary, we grow it up here as an annual, but you could overwinter it. And down south, they grow it as a perennial.
That is weird. I did not know that.
Yeah. But you know what? When we're up in the northern part, we don't get the bugs like. Click on the video for the next portion of Know Better, Grow Better. And if you enjoyed this, share it with a friend and consider subscribing to the channel for more. Thanks so much for watching.